Welcome friends to the Killdex for Scarwood Reach. This is your host, Dark Hostess, and we have a long one today. There are more rare mobs in Scarwood Reach than any other zone you're going to find. In fact, it is pretty much a mini-game as a matter of fact. Well, let's jump right into it. First we have Rivetskull. Yeah, he's not too hard. You're going to need a group if you are not level 50 at least. And he has a few damaging attacks, a few special abilities, and he is an elite. And if you're not a 50, with some gear, I mean, you'll probably be able to take him though. And he's pretty easy to take down if you're by yourself. Otherwise, you're going to need a group to take these elites down. Now, they call these mobs rare, but they spawn all the time in Scarwood Reach. There's only a couple that seem to be a little bit more rare than others, but you're not going to have any trouble knocking out your achievement for this zone. All you need to do is go to Kane's Command or Perspice and just sit around and listen to the dialogue of the hunters. And when they say that a mob is up, like Gravelfist has been spotted in such and such place, just head on down to that place and you're gonna find them. It's like they're camping the mobs for you. I mean, it's so awesome actually. And you can knock out so much reputation. If you're level 50, you can just do mob after mob after mob, and you can get up to honored in really no time. I gained quite a bit of reputation just doing this video here. Now, our next rare mob is Vasyu, who is a little bat guy. And he is inside this cave here. And if you have your targeting macro, you're going to target him all the way outside the cave. So, you're not going to have any problems finding these mobs with the macro. Like you see it on my chat log right here, it searches for them all, and it will target them through walls, underground, wherever they're at. It makes hunting rares so much easier, unless you're old school and want to do it the old way. More power to you. Vasyu, he was a little bit of a challenge, even at 50, he put out a little damage. But like I've said before, that I try to kill these guys slowly, so you can see their special abilities and all that good stuff. I guess what really made this a challenge is I started the fight with half health, and I also pulled about 3 or 4 other mobs. Yeah, that doesn't help very much. But if you're looking for Vasyu, he's inside the cave. And that is one little tip that probably will help you, because I had targeted Vasyu and I had went around and around, and I was like, man, where is this guy? And then I looked in the cave, and voila, there he was. So look in the cave. And if you haven't noticed, each one of these rare mobs drops a quest item. And this is what you turn in for the reputation. And it varies from 250 for the non-elites to 500 for the elites. And so you can just imagine, you just keep killing these rares over and over. And they're really not rares. They're constantly spawning. If one's not spawning, there's another one spawning across the map. And they're going to tell you at the Kane's Command or Perspice from the NPCs, they're going to say right there, yo, Nuhtu is right up by, Iron Place, And speaking of Nuhtu, this is him, and he's not too hard. And if you see that he's up on the ledge here, when you walk in, what I did to get to him is I just bunny hopped down the stairs, and that way you don't have to go all the way through the cave system. Another way you can do it is if you have a pet, then send your pet to attack Nuhtu, and then put it on passive, and it'll drag him all the way down. That helps a lot. Or if you have Bull Rush, you can also use Bull Rush, or if you just want to fight your way through all those mobs, you can. If you're level 50, you can probably avoid some, but it's pretty tight. And if you're lazy like me, sometimes you just would rather Bull Rush off the mountain to get to him. Now, Nuhtu is an elite, so you will need a group if you aren't level 50. That's just a word of advice. And this guy that I'm playing right here, Nerfbat, he's in all T2 gear, And the only problem is I don't have all his macros set up, so he's not perfect. Like if you see when you see me playing Dark Hostess, I perform just so much better because I have all my macros, and I just don't feel like going through all that trouble on the alpha server. Next, we have Rotwhip, and he is your standard ghostly guy with the chains model. We've seen this model. That is one thing that I wish they had spiced up a little bit for these rares. Is there's multiple rares that are using the same model, and it's a little disappointing. That's kind of lazy. Speaking of lazy, that's a little bit lazy. And Rotwhip here, he is an elite, and he is a little bit of a challenge. If you're level 50, you're not going to have any trouble with these guys. That's just the case, the fact of the matter. If you are the same level as these mobs, you're going to need a full group. They don't play. They're pretty tough. So you want to be prepared. Be prepared. And you could work with a team. And I'm not sure if you get EXP. Since I'm level 50, I didn't see if I was getting EXP or not. So I do believe you do get EXP. So this might be a great way to gain some serious EXP. If they do reward EXP, then you could just have a level 50 friend drag you all over the place, and then you could just turn these quests in and gain a lot of EXP. Because you can run through rare after rare really fast. As soon as you get back to Kane's Command or Perspus, they are already, talking about another mob spawning, And they're pretty accurate, when they're talking about the mob spawning, or such and such has been spotted, here or there. Generally, they are there, but sometimes they are a little off or a little wrong. So, don't be disappointed if the mob isn't there. And next we have Barbwing, and this guy, he seems to spawn and spawn and spawn. You're not going to have any trouble finding him, and he's a real easy kill, not elite. So he's worth about 250 reputation points. And like I said before, I wasn't able to check on the EXP. So if you might want to check on that, and you might want to jump on it, because all these quests are repeatable. That's what I'm telling you now. You can grind out some serious reputation and possibly serious EXP. I wasn't able to test it, but I'm pretty sure you get XP for this. And another thing I didn't even mention was the coin. You get about 20 gold for each one of these guys. I believe it's 20 gold for the non-elites, and I think almost like 40 gold for the elites. So you can imagine that adds up pretty quickly. I know there's better ways to make cash, but before I knew it, I'd had like 3 or 4 platinum, that just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Next we have Gravelfist, and he's kind of like on a lower spawn rate. It took a while for him to show up, but he will show up. He'll show up a few times a day at least. Just be patient. And I'm not sure if these mobs are tied together, but there is a strong possibility that when one rare is up, that the others aren't spawning. That is just, that's the way it seemed to work out. It seemed like I had to go and kill the mobs that were, already up, and that would trigger the other ones to spawn. I'm not saying that's how it is, but that's, from my perspective, that's how it seemed to work out. Now, Gravelfist, he is an elite. He has a little bit of a bang to him, and you will need a group if you aren't level 50. Otherwise, he's a walk in the park. And as you see, like, I'm on my main now, and it's like he didn't even do any damage to me, barely. And when I'm on the alpha server, without all my macros and everything set up just perfectly, it's kind of, I lose about like half my health. But when I'm on Dark Hostess, these guys, they're easy, no trouble at all. And I'm sure you're not going to have any trouble at all on your main 50. And as I've mentioned in my previous Killdexes, after I killed the guy, I always bring up my map so you can see exactly where I'm at. And I also look around so you can get a little bit of a environmental and make some landmarks, But when you have the targeting macro, You know, it's really, I guess it's a little pointless, but hey, I'm making this series, you know, and I want to make it pretty cool. I don't think anybody else has made a rare mob series like this before. So, let's talk about Lashtail. And he is an elite at the very, very top of Walden, or Warden, I believe it's called. And he's at the very, very top. And if you notice, there's a little telepad at the bottom, so you can get right to the top. And he dropped a blue. And never can have enough blues. And he was not too hard, really. The hardest part was he's got, you know, a ton of trash around him. You know, there's all kinds of crap roaming around. So you might want to clear out a little bit of an area. But you also want to be aware and, you know, tag it before that next guy walks up and tags it before you do. Because, you know, that happens just constantly. Making these videos, oh, I'm telling you, it's not easy, you know. I mean, that's one reason I chose to make this Killdex thing, is because it isn't easy, and I kind of wanted to challenge myself and just see if I could do it. And it seems to be working out pretty good, but I'm telling you, it is a lot of work doing all this. Some mobs were taking just so long to spawn. I'm like going on like 3 weeks for one mob, this Marlrog in Silverwood. I've waited on him forever, and he ain't around. Next, Corpsegrinder, and with the targeting macro, you can target the little sucker right underground. Yeah, this makes it way easier. You know, these tracking potions. I've tried to use them, and I really don't see what they even do. They kind of mark the little triangle on the ground, but the rare mob wasn't even there where the triangle was marked, so they seem like they're worthless. Anyway, Corpsegrinder, he looks like a well, I won't mention what he looks like, but we all know what he looks like. He is an elite, and it wasn't very hard. I mean, he's not hard for a 50, but if you are of level, you're going to need a group to knock out Corpsegrinder. He had such a terrible name, but he fell over like a wimp. And you can see right on the map exactly where I'm at. He's very easy to find. And once again, I keep mentioning that targeting macro, but the thing's a godsend. You know, I mean, it's helped so much with these videos, and I use that same targeting macro in WoW. You know, while I was hunting like the rare mount drakes and stuff. So, yeah. I love that little targeting macro. And if you have like a G15 keyboard, you can set it up to where it just spams that macro constantly. And, you know, it's not against the toss or anything. I mean, as long as you are at your keyboard while you're using the functions of your G15, it's not against the toss. That's clear. I've researched it. Anyway, let's get to Venomspitter. Yeah, he had to be right in the middle of a death rift, so it kind of didn't make for a very pretty picture. He's very easy kill, non-elite, you know, nothing very special about him. Just a colorful little spider. I guess one of the coolest things about these rare mobs is they have unique items, and some items that you can only find on these rare mobs, you know, because they'll be named after the mob, obviously. And, you know, some of them are kind of cool, you know. I mean, if you're a collector of strange and bizarre things, or, you know, you like to collect everything like I do, then you might be interested in the rare mobs just for the collector's value, you know. I mean, there's some pretty cool armor and weapons and things like that. And with the wardrobe feature coming up, hopefully they'll add it where you can add stat items. You know, right now you can only add costume wear, which kind of is lame. Next we have Ironfang. He is a wolf. Kind of a little bit grayer than the other wolves around here. He is another real easy kill. And you see that guy walking by me, he's like, damn it, that guy just took Ironfang from me. I'm sure he was mad. Damn 50s in the low-level zones. You know what they're doing. Ironfang was very easy to kill. and another 250 reputation right there. After I get done with these videos, I'm going to come back to Scarwood Reach and play this little mini game, because it really is like a mini game. You know, you just go to Kane's Command or Perspus, and you just sit there and listen for the NPCs to, you know, tell you where the rare mobs are, and then it's just like, you know, haul butt to where they are, and if you got your targeting macro up, then boom, boom, you know, you can be back there in like probably like 3 minutes or so, and then you can just move on to the next one. Next we have Blister. Yeah, Blister. He's one of those little dragon guys, and he has kind of a unique model. I know we've all seen it around. This is from one of the rifts. You know, I've seen this model from one of the rifts, I believe. And he is a very easy kill as well. Not elite. And he was kind of on a lower spawn than the others. You know, I didn't see Blister up as much as I did several of the other ones. You know, like Rivetskull, that guy is just constantly spawning over and over. And what's kind of cool, he's right by Kane's Command, so I could go kill him over and over and over, and I knocked out, man, I can't even tell you how much reputation I knocked out. This is the way to go if you want to knock out some easy Iron Trapper reputation. Next up, we have Bloodwhisker, and he is your standard cat model. Yeah, but this damn little pig had to get in the mix, and he was between the pig and my pet. They just about blocked old Bloodwhisker. Now, Bloodwhisker is an elite, so you will need to bring a group unless you are level 50. And you probably are going to wait until you're level 50 to do these achievements anyway. I don't know who would stop in the middle of leveling just to go and do all their rare mob achievements. Unless you see one just kind of there. You know, I seen a few when I was going up the levels, but I didn't see very many. And I knew that when I hit 50, that would be something that I would, you know, go do to kill some time. You know, I'm not a raider or anything like that, so I just I like to do these kinds of things, like hunt rare mobs and achievements, and that's why my videos focus on them so much. But Bloodwhisker was a very easy kill for a 50. He didn't have any special abilities or anything like that. Next we have Scarbeak. And now Scarbeak, speaking of rare mobs when you're leveling up, he was one of the few that made it into my Rift Noob Adventure series, and it took 2 people to kill him, because I was at level at the time, and there just happened to be a guy here, and you can actually see that in my Rift Noob Adventures if you want to go back and check that out. I believe it's episode 5 or 6. And old Scarbeak here, he is a challenge. You know, I mean, not for a level 50, but if you are of level, you know, you're going to need 2 or 3 people to take these guys down. That's about accurate estimation. You know, 2 people can usually do it. You know, 3 people, you might as, you know, share the wealth a little bit, and you can, you know, take 5 and just completely blast the guy, or all of these elites. You know, they aren't, you know, they aren't really that hard. You know, they're just, you know, like standard elites. A few of them have some special abilities that will, you know, kind of take you off guard. Next we have the Errant Wrecker, and it is one of those Wrecker construct guys that you usually see like in a Death Rift. So we've all seen this model before, and it's not an elite, and it is a very easy kill. I thought that big old spider behind him was maybe another one of these rares, but no, that just turned out to be a normal mob. But the Errant Wrecker, he's very far from pretty much both Perspus and Kane's Command. So I always thought it sucked when he would spawn, because he was the longest ride to get out to him and then back. And he doesn't seem to spawn as often as a lot of the other mobs. He spawns more than the lowest ones and less than the highest ones. He's kind of like right in the middle. You know, it's like every once in a while, you know, you're going to see him plenty. just like all the other rare mobs in Scarwood Reach, it has an obscene amount of rare mobs, and they just spawn and spawn and spawn. You'll have a field day. Now the next mob up for the Killdex is Vilehide, and he was an elite, and standard procedure as all the other elites in this zone. If you're level 50, he's not going to be any trouble at all. If you're not level 50, if you're of level, take a friend. Take a friend with you. Going to need at least 2 people, unless you are just really skilled and you can kite and all that. But we all know that you can't kite very well in Rift. Thank you, Exposed buff. I wish they would get rid of that damn thing. I will bring up that every chance I get. And I hope that one day a dev will listen. But Vilehide, he's no challenge really. He had no special abilities, and he went down really easy, really easy. He's really close to Perspus. So if you're RA Defiant, then you can be happy when he spawns, and you can just go back and forth, back and forth. He has a little bit of a lower spawn rate, but you're going to see him. You're going to see him plenty. And now, Shadow Harvester. That's a pretty cool name, but unfortunately his model is just your standard ghost with chains, and he has the same model as another of the rare mobs in the zone. And like I said, that was a bit disappointing. And our little friend Shadow Harvester, he seems to hit pretty hard. He was taking me down, for level 50, so you might keep that in mind if you are not in that great of gear. My friend Dark Hoses here has he has some pretty good gear. Not that great, but pretty good. And you see Shadow Harvester dropped a pretty cool looking staff there. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. And like I've mentioned earlier, a lot of these rare mobs do drop these very unique items that you won't see elsewhere. In fact, there's even rare mobs in the starting zone. I bet, a lot of people didn't know that. It's like, I just came across it when I was leveling up another tune one day, and I was like, man, that is a rare in the damn starting zone. So, guess what? I did a video for that as well. I've already got all the rares for the starting zone, so you'll get to see that in the future video. Too bad there's not any achievement for it. And too bad you can't go back to the starting zone, That's kind of lame, isn't it? But I won't get off on that kind of stuff. Next we have Gurok, and the coordinates for Gurok, which have been, on Wikipedia and all that, they aren't correct. I have the correct coordinates right here, and you can see on my map. I had thought that he was up in the tower of Ald Warden here, but no, he walks around the edge. And with the targeting macro, you're going to be able to find him with simplicity. And he is a big, old lummox, as you see. This is one of my favorite models, actually, speaking of models. Too bad they do repeat this. I can count about 4 or 5 rares that share the same model. I hope in the future they do expand on this. But Gurok, he was a very easy kill. You're not going to have any trouble with him. And he's very close to Kane's command. The only problem is he's surrounded by quite a bit of trash. And you might want to clear out a little bit of an area if you were a little bit lower level. If you were high level, then just take them all on at once. Put some hair on your chest. And next up on our kill list here is Blackclaw, and it is a scorpion. It is also an elite, but it was very easy. He barely even took off any points of health for me. And if you are of level though, you're gonna want to bring a friend. If you were 50, you know the procedure. Just haul butt, kill it, get back to Kane's command, then get out to the next rare. That way you can tear through some reputation and gain a decent amount of coin as you're at it as well. Blackclaw is very, very easy to find. He's right by the instance. So just keep your targeting macro going and run around by the instance, and you're going to find them. There's about 3 right here by the instance. So that's one cool thing about that targeting macro. Just keep it running the entire time, and even you know, when you're not looking for a rare, they just seem to pop up because that thing's awesome. And there you can see exactly on the map. The coordinates also for Blackclaw were a little off as well. They were pretty close, but just a fraction off. So now that you can see it on the map and everything like that, see the landmarks where I'm at, you're not going to have any problem whatsoever finding that guy. Now this guy, Granite Crawler, he took forever to spawn for some reason. It's a spider, and it's not elite. I think it was maybe because it's right by the Defiant post here. That is a very strong possibility, because you have Defiance questing right here. And they probably just knock this guy out every time they see him. But it took me a long time to get a hold of this guy, and I was so happy to see him spawn finally. This guy and Ahasa are the 2 pains in the asses that don't spawn very often. They just spawn every once in a while. Every zone has a pain in the ass. Scarlet Gorge has probably the least amount, and Korgek is the pain in the ass in that zone. But in this zone, it's the Ahasa guy and the Granite Crawler guy. Both of these guys just took forever. So, you know, you might bypass just camping this guy, you know, and like I said, you're going to want to just listen to the hunters at Kane's Command or Perspus and just listen to what they're saying, and they'll tell you exactly where they're at. And, you know, it's a pretty fun little mini game. You know, like I've mentioned before, you just keep going back and forth, and you're gaining a lot of reputation, and you're gaining quite a bit of money as well. Next, we have our little crocodile buddy. He's been terrorizing Kingblade Mill, Razorback Terror. I was thinking it was going to be a pig, because every Razorback I've ever known was a pig, but this time it turned out to be a crocodile. Yeah. He shares the same model as Rockjaw from Scarlet Gorge, and we've seen this model a few times. One cool thing, though, is he is the one that I got my achievement for. And you know, when you're doing these achievements for these zones, you do not need every single mob. I'm just showing you every single mob because I'm making a complete index, a complete Killdex with all, you know, so you can see them and, you know, everything. I mean, you can't really get much more than video. I mean, we all go to Alakazam or whatever, and all you see is a picture. But here you have the video. You can see exactly where it's at. There's no questions, you know. That's why I decided to make these Killdexes, because you can watch this video before your hunt, and you'll have a greater knowledge and perspective of the entire thing, you know. You'll be able to just run through it so much easier. So much easier. And in the future, if they ever decide to change these models, which I doubt they will, but it'll be kind of like a historical marker. The reason I say that is because in WoW, you can watch how the models have evolved from, like, they were really, really crappy at the beginning, and then they've evolved and evolved and evolved, you know. And you can look on YouTube and see the very old models. Haha, Ahasa. Yeah, this guy. Oh God, this guy took forever. I mean, I had, you know, he was going to be almost a deal breaker for this video, you know. It took him so long to spawn, and he finally did. And when he did spawn, like I had filmed him once before, and he ran right into a death rift, and he got killed, and that really sucked. Anyhow, we have been at this for 30 minutes, and we have gone through every single mob in Scarwood Reach. Will have no more questions about the rare mobs of Scarwood, I hope. You've got to see them all and got to see where they're at. This has been your host, Dark Hostess, for the Gamer Down. thumbs up videos. It really helps me out. Some people are going out of their way to thumbs down my videos. I don't know what I ever did to them. I'm doing my own little thing here, and just because if you disagree with me doesn't mean you have to go out of your way. Even thumbs downing videos that I uploaded years ago. I'm serious. So anyway, my friends out there, you know who you are. You know, please thumbs up my videos to compensate for all the a-holes out there who are going out of their way to thumbs down my videos. I don't know why you would thumb down a guide such as this. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me. Take care.